Hey, pre-sales professionals. It's your host, James Kaikis, and I just want to say thanks for tuning in today. This episode is going to be a bit different than what we've done in the past. And actually, the whole month of January 2020 is going to be a bit different than what we usually do. What does that actually mean? So the next 5 podcasts are going to be on a particular topic as it relates to the pre-sales profession. Transparently, it's going to be me talking for just a few minutes about some things that are happening in PreSales Collective and around the profession. And so my ask here is that you keep an open mind, that you give me a few minutes of your time this week and for the next 5 episodes in January before we start our normal interview process in February. And most importantly, I welcome your feedback. If you agree, you disagree, send me a short message on Slack. I love to have these conversations. As we wrap up 2021, like you, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on this past year. And wow, it's been an incredible ride. This time last year, PreSales Collective had 0 full-time employees. We now have 4, and we'll have a 6-person team by mid-January. It's so amazing to see this profession coming together. And 2021 was the year of the pre-sales professional. We really believe that, and we have data and statistics to back that up. So if you have not watched my opening session from the Executive Summit, we've arrived, the year of the pre-sales professional, please check it out. And that Executive Summit was an amazing event with a lot of really incredible content. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't already. Most importantly, the power of community is real. We used to go into the office and talk to our coworkers and have water cooler talk, but that has not been able to happen for nearly 2 years. Insert community. Insert the ability to talk to people who you usually wouldn't have talked to on a day-to-day basis. Geographical boundaries don't exist anymore. And in this pre-sales collective, we've been able to watch people build relationships across the world. And speaking of the Exec Summit, if you have not watched The Power of Community by David Maloof and Irani, I highly recommend that you do that. It's a great 15 minutes of your time around community and how community has inserted itself to build continuity amongst peers. And as we talk about the pre-sales collective, it is really unbelievable to see this global profession coming together. The PreSales Collective has more than 17,000 members across the globe. Our private leadership collective, which hasn't even been around for a year, has 335 paying members. And when it comes to content, we've got so much, 84 podcasts, over 100 blog articles. We've hosted over 100 events, including multiple multi-day conferences. And what does that mean? I mean, there is a lot going on. We do in-person events. There's a Slack community, over 7,700 folks. We have Women in Solutions Excellence program, our Diversity, Equality, Equity, and Inclusion program, our PSLC Council. There's just so much going on. But I have to be transparent, as I am my own harshest critic, and I'm a pre-sales professional at heart. What does that actually mean? I'm a customer-centric problem solver. It's literally how I define the role when people ask me, what is a pre-sales professional? And how does that translate to actually being a co-founder of a community for this profession? We at PreSales Collective have taken a major step back to evaluate the PSC experience. Like many of you, I thought the pandemic was only going to be a couple of months and we'd be back meeting in person. But look where we're at now. We're back to lockdowns in January 2022. And so for us, how can we ensure we're delivering the best experience? Because at times, PreSales Collective can be a bit overwhelming. There's so many different ways to digest content and so much content coming at you. And really, our lives have not slowed down. Our companies are busy, our personal lives are busy, and we want to make sure that PreSales Collective fits without being overwhelming or being a commitment. And being sales engineers, we're always thinking about the puzzle. How do we make things fit together? How do we ensure a seamless and great user experience? And so our main theme for 2022 is architecting your experience. If you're an individual sales engineer living in London, you're new to the profession, your experience should be different than the 15-year pre-sales leader living in San Francisco. No matter where you are in your career, no matter what you're interested, no matter where you're located, you should have a unique experience at PreSales Collective, something that's tailored to your development, your needs, and your interests. What does that actually mean? The first thing that it means is that we have a member portal rolling out to our PreSales Leadership Collective members in January. We are re-architecting the experience, and we will bring that member portal to the broader PSC in 2022. And we've also introduced new ways to contribute. This community is built for and by pre-sales professionals. I like to say that we're a platform highlighting the amazing work done by amazing pre-sales professionals around the globe. And so presalescollective.com/contribute now exists. What does that actually mean? You can raise your hand to be one of our mediums. You have a story, you have a topic, you want to be on a podcast, you want to be on a webinar. You can raise your hand to highlight that, to put it on our radar. If you really don't feel comfortable being on one of our mediums, but you want to see more content on a specific topic or theme, you could submit that. If you actually want to nominate someone to be on one of our mediums, you could do that. For example, my boss is amazing when it comes to pre-sales KPIs and metrics. I believe she should be on the PreSales Collective podcast. You can now nominate her. And most importantly, you can submit resources that you want to be shared throughout the community. We'll even work on sanitizing them and taking out confidential information. How many times do people ask, what kind of career ladder exists within pre-sales? What should those roles be? I've seen that question asked half a dozen times in the PreSales Collective Slack. Let's put out some content in the Knowledge Hub of the member portal that allows anybody to access that content. That is how we stop reinventing the wheel as a profession. We start really streamlining, working together, because I am a firm believer that once we start getting out of our comfort zone, talking to people at other companies, learning how they do things, that either validates what we do or makes us think we should be approaching the situation differently. And that is what innovation is. And that is the magic of PreSales Collective, is because together we've created a community that you can go and message your boss from 4 companies ago in a PreSales Collective Slack and get a response. You can check in with that former coworker or someone you met at a conference years ago in PreSales Collective Slack. You can ask a question and get an answer by somebody who's already solved that problem. That is the magic of community. And that is what we want to continue to promote and enhance in 2022. I say this often, but I truly mean it. There's never been a better time to be in pre-sales, and there's never been a better time to be a member of the PreSales Collective. And I am so excited for what PreSales Collective and PreSales Academy and PreSales Leadership Collective can do for the profession in 2022, and watch this ecosystem form. It is incredible to see. And I'll talk about this on another podcast later this month, but sales is changing. Buying is changing. Pre-sales professionals are at the forefront, and I'll explain why. Thank you so much for listening. Your support means so much to us. Listening to the podcast, sharing the podcast, getting involved in PreSales Collective, it means more than you know. And so thank you so much for your support. And I look forward to seeing you next week and the rest of January as we talk about what is happening in this profession.